It still is about to flip it. It's like 300 million market cap away from flipping it.
Brett will 1000% flip Whiff because Whiff was Cabal Coin, Fugazi, Solana Coin, and it's
And
listed
we've
on
got,
everything. Oh
yeah.
shit.
Whoa.
Mr. Producer, we got all them hoes. I'm fired up today. Good Mr. Producer today.
Oh.
Oh, Naeem. He hit us with the. Everybody loves boom. After they hear boom enough times, you always see people throw it out. Boom. It's
Oh,
fire.
yeah, it gets stuck in your head.
Yeah, throw out a boom. But yeah, Naeem always hits us with the boom.
Every time. Naeem!
Naeem. Naeem. He told his. Never mind. No, it's too crazy. This is ultimate market professionals. We'll leave the crass for Saturdays for the university meeting. But yeah, gentlemen, we're almost through the thick of it. All right. I know everybody got a little bit nervous. Things were getting a little bit difficult, mentally exhausting. We were going through the chop before the pop, which is understandable. That's what markets are meant to do, is make people emotional. You look at a bar chart, a candlestick chart, and it's just human emotion, human psychology on the chart. That's all it is. That's all it's portraying. So markets are meant to make you emotional. It is what it is. But we got through FOMC meeting, and we're pretty much setting up exactly how we set up last year, 2024, in February, before we started to rip Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they had these huge legs up, and Pepe had his first 10x, not first 10x, but the first major 10x move as it was a larger asset. And we're setting up to do the same exact thing again. So, like we've been saying, when everybody's afraid, everybody's scared, they think it's over for ETH, everybody's capitulating, fucking Vitalik is losing his mind, the fucking Ethereum Foundation is trying to overthrow him, all this shit's happening. Pompino and his company aping ETH. BlackRock, Larry Fink, aping ETH. Priamo, aping ETH. Buying more boys club because I said, fuck it. I'm either going broke or I'm going to retire in the next 6 months. Well, never retire. Or still, just make more money. But could.
A lot more to play with.
A lot more to play with. So the point is that that's the point. Fear. Everybody thought it was over. We got through the thick of it, and now we should start to see trending happening here on majors. And I have some really good fibs on Bitcoin that I'm going to show you guys to show where the next targets are. So yeah, get excited. We're not out of it yet, but the time for ETH to fall over was yesterday after FOMC. We never lost the $3,000, which is what Logan texted me the one day. You know, what are we looking for on ETH? When is it over? I said 3K. He said, what happens if we lose it? Zero.
Yeah.
Zero.
Doing nothing.
Nothing. But we got to, we held 3,000. We're curling back up today, and we should curl up into February, and then should be a very bullish February and March. And I'm going to have some huge play setups for the private crypto plays inside of the Taylor's Code. I've got a long position that we're going to open up. I'm going to give you guys, that's going to be the fucking ape of the century. I'm going to open up a couple longs on some majors we're looking at and some major meme coins. And then we're going to talk about positioning on the show today for where you guys want to be at for the next couple of months. But
Yeah.
Bees, what's going on, player?
What's up, brother? Yeah, you were talking about candlesticks. I feel like now in today's society, red and green candlesticks have to be one of the biggest indicators of like serotonin and dopamine or cortisol production. It's
Right.
like one of the biggest indicators of depression, anxiety, or just like extreme happiness and joy.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like FOMC, like nothing happened. It was just pretty much really
Nothing burger.
uneventful. I feel like FOMC should just stand for fear of markets crashing because it's like everyone just it's pretty good. I just came
That's
up with
good.
that.
That's fucking fire. Yeah, fear of markets
Yeah,
crashing.
that's pretty much all it is. It's like it's an event everyone doesn't know what's going to happen. So like I feel like with crypto, everyone was just de-risking the past week leading into FOMC because they don't ever have any idea what's going to happen.
Right.
They got fear of markets crashing, and then now we're seeing everybody rotate back into the altcoins. I was looking through the boys club today. I saw Andy's up 20% already today. I think Landwolf's up like 15, 16%. Brett and Pepe both up about 10%. So one thing to keep in mind for you guys, we were just talking about before the stream opened up, was now that Andy is down, 60% from the highs, when it was peaking out, it was at like 350, 380 million market cap. For it to pull, even a 20% move at that level, it had to add on 60, 70 million dollars of market cap, which, where it's at now, 10, $20 million move in market cap, it's moving 10, 20%. So, these coins, don't think it's going to be as difficult for them to move as it was before. Not that it would be difficult to move a coin to 300 mil, 400 mil once it gets a lot of attention, but these coins are going to move a lot quicker at the levels they're at right now. So, for you guys that want to get quick returns on your investment, maybe you're down from the highs, Andy and Landwolf are definitely going to be the best plays. But yeah, I'm definitely happy to see SL ETH is up like 6% today. I think it's pushing up for towards 3,300. And yeah, I think in general with the crypto space, it's tough to be bearish on anything whenever Bitcoin is holding strong. And I think right now the kind of level that everyone wants to see on Bitcoin is like 104, 105 and above.
Mm-hmm.
Once it starts getting back towards 100,000, below 100,000, everyone is calling the top, saying it's over. Everyone starts getting emotional. But, Bitcoin, I think right now it's at about 106,000.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of tough to be bearish on anything whenever Bitcoin's holding strong and continuing to go up. So it's a good day so far.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying to people is whenever we're looking on the larger time frame, not to freak out about Bitcoin just because we're getting these $10,000 swings between 100K, 90K. It's funny. I just saw the video last night. I was going through my photos because I was making some posts on Instagram, and I found the video of you and me on Zoom the one night, the first time that Bitcoin cracked 100K, which was literally a month or two ago. Not even, probably a month ago.
You're losing it.
We're hitting 100K. We're losing our minds. And then last week,
Pump It Up.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were playing. You got to pump it up. And we're sitting here like, So Bitcoin cracks 100K. We're ecstatic, euphoric. Now Bitcoin's at 100K, and people, it's over. It's done. I don't know if it's ever gonna go up, bruv. But this is why markets, it's incredible, the psychology of people and how they think. I get it though. It affects me too. The difference is the what makes people effective in business, sales, markets. It's not whether or not they get emotions. Everybody gets the emotions. That's the misconception that people have of people who are successful, is that they think that they just don't feel the same emotions that they feel. No, they feel the same exact emotions. They just react to them differently, or just decide to discard them and still operate within the data, within logic, and within reason, and make decisions based off of that. It's not whether or not you get the emotion. It's just how do you react to it, right?
Well, yeah, it's responding instead of reacting. It's like you're responding with the plan because you know what the strategy was before the emotions came into play, and you're able to stick to the plan that you set up prior to the emotions getting involved. You don't allow the emotions to cause you to react differently and change your thesis that you've had for a year. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what I was trying to say to our community too, was we were up so much on the boys club, and you see yourself, basically retrace a lot of the gains. Not all of them though. That's the thing. We're still higher market cap in comparison to Ethereum than where we were during August and September. So we still gained value on Ethereum, but just the emotion of seeing your portfolio go back down, like, I get it, it sucks, but the thesis had never changed. The thesis was sell and may go away. Ethereum breaking all-time highs. Well, those things hadn't happened yet, so I'm not going to change my positioning or sell my assets lower because in the near term, I'm sad about the price going down. Well, no, it's January. If my thesis was sell in May, go away, then why am I selling in January? It was in May. There's plenty of time between now and May. So if I'm seeing the prices come back down, well, I'm just going to buy more. And that's what I've been doing. Buying more. Then, because I bought more yesterday I bought more. Right after FOMC. And now I'm up again 20, 30% on Andy and Wolf. So you just buy more. And then tomorrow, because today was the relief bounce, so we get a bounce today. Tomorrow into the weekend, we'll either do one of two things, which I know this probably doesn't sound too helpful, and then we'll get into the charts. But we're either going to keep ripping through the weekend, or we'll get a slight retrace going into Monday. Depending on how we start moving tomorrow, I'm going to buy more Andy and Wolf. because once we have the February open on Monday or Sunday, markets should move up a little bit because people are going to be very bullish. And then what you guys see every single month for the past 6-8 months, if you guys take a look, what they do is they'll send price higher up from the monthly open. Then they're going to set a bear trap to the downside. So they're going to shoot the price back down below the monthly open. This has happened the last 6-8 months in a row I've been watching. Then about after 1 week into the month, that's when they start the trend. So I'm going to look to position this weekend into spot, and then the longs that we're going to place in the Taylor's code in the private chat, I'm going to send in a couple of long positions we're going to place, leverage longs. We're going to do that about a week into the month. Once the bear trap is set, we'll set the long position at the lows and ride that bitch up. But, all right, let's pull up these fucking charts. Let's give the people what they want, huh? All right. So, webcam cat. Oops. Let me pull a little Mr. Producer. All right, get back over here. Boom. Do this. Oh, no.
What?
I'm in Cabo right now. I guess if it's working, then fuck it. All right. Usually doesn't work when I'm in Cabo.
No lag yet.
No lag yet. All right. We'll take it.
Speaking of Cabo, I stopped getting rake backs. I got to gamble a little more. You stopped getting them too?
Yeah. So I stopped opening up Roobet. So I'm like, all right, after bull run, post bull run, we'll get degenerate again. We'll start doing some Roobet live stream for you guys. All right. So here's local time frame or lower time frame Bitcoin. Okay, you guys have seen this for the past couple of weeks. You know what it is. We never broke down from this range. Fantastic. We held. We're coming back up. We retested this trend line right here. We broke out, came back down, retested. Boom. Now we're pumping back out of the range. So we just need. So what you're going to see here is probably a couple of taps, like this on the top of the range before we send. Okay. But we're outside of the range again, so we're looking beautiful on Bitcoin. Now, here's what I wanted to show you guys on a higher time frame now that we know the structure should be pushing back up to the upside, okay? So when we get this next leg up on Bitcoin, we want to have some targets because we're going to go back into price discovery. So let me go ahead and throw on the fibs on here. So I was playing with this last night, and I got some beautiful fibs on Bitcoin from this 8-month range that fit so nicely. Okay. So take a look at this. So I got Bitcoin on the four-day time frame. All right. I'm going to put us right up here. Okay. And so we had last year this 8-month range on Bitcoin that was the range of death. Okay. So I just put some fibs over top of this just to give us an idea of where the next target is for Bitcoin. And if you take a look down here, here's the range high. Here's the range low, the 0, and then here's the mid-range, the 0.5. So Bitcoin down here actually came up, tested the range low, retraced, pumped back in, okay, came up, set the range high. Then you see a lot of interaction with the mid-range, right? A lot of interaction right here with the mid-range, right? So we set this range, and then we draw the fibs over top of this, and the 1.618 from the range that we drew was 85.6. Blasted right through it. You see right here, we came back down, retested it perfectly. Beautiful. Boom. Retest the 1.618. Blast off again. The 2.618 called the 108,000 top. Again, perfectly. Touched it right on the penny, right on the dot. Boom, we retrace, we create this new little range that we have, drawn out right here, right? So this is the range that we had all the drawings on. So it creates this new range on the lower time frame, okay? But that 2.618 called the top perfectly, great. So now on the next leg higher on Bitcoin, what can we see? So the next target is gonna be right here at about 130,000, which makes sense. So we expect it to run to about 130K by the end of March. Because last year, February, March is whenever Bitcoin took its next leg higher, kind of topped out and then created that 8-month reaccumulation range that we had. So on Bitcoin, we should see a similar thing where it'll peak out at about 130K around March and then create that new range. And that's whenever you see alts start to go blast off. Because once Bitcoin tops and then starts ranging, people will redistribute their profits down into altcoins. And that's whenever you saw last year from February, March through May and June, altcoins rip face. That's whenever Pepe took its next 10x. So that's what you're going to see on Bitcoin. So we're going to get this next leg higher. We'll get another stab up on Bitcoin dominance. And then once we top out in March, April-ish, start to rotate back into altcoins. You're going to see that next alt season. So 130K is the next target on Bitcoin.
What's the 1618 from this new range that started in December?
That started in December. So you want to do like new fibs on that?
Yeah, what's the
Let's do
1618 on this?
So let me take off this one. 118.
And then what's the 2?
135. So there's confluence there. Beautiful. So look at that. That's a good call. So you get this fib confluence. That's a great call. So look at this. So now we even have confluence between the two ranges. So from the local range, the 2.618 is at 135,000 from this massive reaccumulation range back last year. This is going to be 130K. So Bitcoin, this is a beautiful golden pocket for us to range in. So the next top, you're going to see between 130 and 135, and then you're going to see us range in between here, right? And that's whenever that stuff's going to start rotating back into altcoins. You're going to see altcoins start to rip face. That's beautiful. Yeah, I like it. I like the setup a lot. Bitcoin looks beautiful. And the fib confluence gives me a lot of confidence that's going to be going up there too. If we look at, let's look at it on log too, just to see if there's any. Let's do it like this. So if we look at it on log, make sure these are on log, yep. Okay, where are the targets now? Beautiful. Look. I made 142 is probably a little bit high, but look at the log right here. 131K. So both linear fib ranges are between 130 and 135, and the log is at 131. So that's 3 sets of fib confluence right between 130 and 135. So math, baby. I like it.
Looks good to me.
All right, so that's where we're looking like on Bitcoin. So let's get these fibs off of here. So just to put back on the drawing that we had on the local range for you guys. Okay. So that's larger time frame. And again, that's why you don't want to get stuck on the lower time frames and get afraid because you get this kind of price action, because on the higher time frame, we know what's going on. So here we are on this. Now we can start to redraw this range once we get the next breakout. We can start to take some of these drawings away. But yeah, you guys see how the range has been playing out. So bear trap, bull trap. You knock out the leverage traders up here who think we got a breakout. Nuke it back down. They get the bear trap to create max fear, max pain. People think we're going to come lower. The bears get trapped. They squeeze them up to the upside. Now we're ranging here. We're just waiting for this breakout. So ETH, let's take a look at ETH real quick. All right. Our precious ETH, the one that's going to determine how rich we become. So ETH, this was our spot to die on ETH. Okay. This was it right here. And then this right here. Bull stepped in. So if we were going to break down, it was yesterday or this morning. Okay. And we didn't break down. So that's why I'm very confident that ETH, because it's continued to hold this level, this range, we're going to pump higher into February and March. You see us making a nice move up to the upside. We're going to see how far this goes up before we get a little retracement. It's not going to be straight up. This is why I'm also waiting for the February open before I'd make any new leverage plays. Because you're going to see them, it's going to do something like this. We're either going to come up and retest the range high and then come back down to the mid range, which is where I would be looking to open up any kind of new positioning. Or we could even do something like this and really fuck people up kind of go like that, right? Retest the mid-range, come back down one more time, like first week of February before we start ripping face. So I would expect something like that to happen. Either way, though, we haven't broken down from this range, so I don't believe it's going to break down at this point. They've had enough tries to break it down. They have enough tries to shoot us down lower. The important piece of confidence that we have is if Bitcoin goes higher, ETH is not going to go down. So for Bitcoin to look as good as it looks and Ethereum to still not have broken down from this range, it's over for bears because Bitcoin's going to move higher, therefore Ethereum can't break down anymore. The time for Ethereum to break down passed. I believe this goes higher too. So it just depends on how they're going to draw the structure before they shoot us up. But that's what I would look for on ETH. Okay. You got anything on ETH?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just going to be. I don't think it's going to go below range lows again. I mean, if it does, it might retest the lows. I don't think it's going to break down any lower than that. So yeah, it's just going to be a matter of seeing what happens here over the next 7 to 10 days, seeing if we can break out of this range through the first week of February. I think you're probably right, especially with the trend you've seen over the past 6 to 8 months of what we tend to do off of monthly opens. So I'd say we're probably going to stay in this range. It's going to be one of the two options, like you just said. We're either going to retest the mid range, retest the range lows, and then send after the first 5 to 7 days of February, or we're just going to keep going up through the weekend, probably retest and interact with range highs a little bit. And then the first week of February, we'll be moving up out of the range. And hopefully after the first week of February, be back up close to 4,000. That'd be beautiful. And then the second week of February, finally break through that glass ceiling that's been on ETH since, I don't even know when. When's the last time ETH was above 4,000? I mean, really above 4,000.
Last cycle. Literally last cycle 4 years ago.
Yeah, so 2021, spring of 2021.
Yeah. The last time ETH was above would have been, yeah, like over here. So, I mean, yeah, literally here. I mean, this would have been the last time when it broke through the first time.
October, November 2021. So it's like we draw a lot of different ranges and a lot of different accumulation ranges on Ethereum. We've used like all of 2024 was a big accumulation range. But yeah, when you zoom out on the chart, you see that ETH has been in an accumulation range really for 4 years.
Yep.
So yeah, when you see World Liberty buying, hundreds of millions of dollars of Ethereum, they're not even buying normal Bitcoin. They're buying Bitcoin wrapped with Ethereum on the Ethereum network. So yeah, I mean, the stage is getting set for something. And I can't imagine it's for anything else than ETH going down to new all-time highs at the minimum. So can you draw the fibs for this big range that's been going on since 2021, and then the fib range for the range we've been in since like February, March of 2024?
Yes, let's do that. Let's take a look at that. I've drawn that out before too, because I have cycle targets again for the guys inside of the private crypto plays so that they know where we're going to start selling all of our boys club and our Ethereum beta once we're up 10, 15, 20x. So let's give them a little preliminary targets. So let's throw this in log. Okay. So I'm going to throw this in log because the range in log looks fantastic on Ethereum. So quite literally a 4-year reaccumulation range. So if we take the fibs like that, so this is a little deviation right here. We could even do more like this, actually. Let's do it from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the range right there. Yeah, because you see we have all this interaction with the top of the range, which is right about 4,000. The first time, rejected. Second time, rejected. This time was the only time we actually broke through, and that was a cycle top. Came all the way back down to range lows, perfectly testing the range low. Mid-range interaction right here, right there. And 1, 2, 3 taps at 4K again. So what do you guys think is going to happen whenever Ethereum finally breaks out of this 4K number and then obviously goes past all-time highs? We're going to fucking shoot. So the first fib on ETH would be 9,000. So this is where, let's see, we're in law. Yeah. So then you said you want this range right here too, Fibs,
Yeah, the range that started in like February, March
of this year. Yeah.
2024.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's do that. So you've got some confluence. Do we? Not really. So the local top on this range, on the last site or this cycle, excuse me, the 1.618 would be at 6K. So I bet you we would probably get a little interaction there. Pause for a moment there, probably in May, or excuse me, in March or April as Bitcoin does its first top. And then I bet you by May, June, the same way that we had that little mini alt season last year, we could probably come up somewhere near 9K.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would make sense considering last cycle what happened. I mean, if you're including the entire range since 2021, it's probably going to be a little bit of a better indicator of cycle top rather than the first top that we see on Ethereum earlier in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think the first target being 6,000 is definitely reasonable. To see that because that's a 2x, a little bit less than a 2x from where we're at right now. See that either in like March, April, and then see the second top around 9,000 in like end of May, beginning of June. Or, I think the other alternative would be we see 6,000 in like May, June time. That's the first year or the first top of the cycle in 2025. And then towards the end of the year, like October, November, if people think it's going to play out similar to 2021, October, November, we see it pump again up to around 8, 9,000
Right.
and then top out there. And then we go away forever.
And that's what's so crazy about this too is that's such a conservative target because that would mean this Q1, Q2, we would only make it. Let's see. Oh, I should have that same down below. Okay, price range. I'm going to add that. So that means we would only make it from the previous all-time high up to 23, 24% higher than the previous all-time high this year. Or, I mean, this Q1, Q2. That would actually be outrageously conservative and bearish, which is why you should be so bullish on the Boys Club memes and what we're holding, because if we get a 2x from Ethereum from here, which would just mean this first fib, if we only get a 2x from Ethereum, that means Pepe is going to do a minimum of 6x, okay? Because this is exactly what the data is. They're levered Ethereum. Pepe would do a 6x. Andy and Wolf would do a 3 to 4x of that, which means they would do 18 to 20x. 18 to like 24x. Think about that. That would be only if ETH goes to 6,000. You're getting a 6x on Pepe, and you're going to get an 18 to 24x on Andy and Wolf. That's the data. That's exactly how levered they are compared to Ethereum. So that's conservative. I really believe that this is certainly in play because this would only be, that's not even a 2x from the previous cycle all-time high. Bitcoin is already going to do a 2x from its previous cycle all-time high. It's about to at 120K, 130K. Bitcoin does 2x from previous cycle all-time high. If Ethereum can't do a 2x from its previous cycle all-time high as a smaller asset that's way more movable, that would be embarrassing. So 9K, though it sounds crazy right now because we're just so used to ETH being a piece of shit, it's really not crazy. 9K ETH should certainly be in the cards for this Q1, Q2, which is, even to myself saying that, it's like, what? That's insane. I can't believe that's going to happen. But it should. Like, that really should. If you look at Bitcoin, previous cycle all-time high was 65, 70K. So that would be 130 to 140K. And we should be there between March and April. So that's a 2x from its previous all-time high. That's not even a 2x 9K. So, yeah, I'm super bulled up on ETH. This is a 4 or 5 year reaccumulation range. When this shit breaks out, it's not going to be a small move. This shit's going to fucking send. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And I think to the 1618 of the current range, which is, about 6,000.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you compare it to just what the previous range highs have been around 4,000, that's another 33% move from current range highs.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you guys have seen this morning already, ETH's up 5-6%. Andy and Landwolf are up 20+% off a 6% move. So, I mean, that's another 2x from where Ethereum's at right now. It's like if you're getting 3 to 4x moves compared to what Ethereum's moving, it's like, what do you think's going to happen whenever ETH goes up another 100% from here? It's like you're doing, a minimum of 4 to 5x on those assets just if ETH gets to 6,000, which you said is 22% above previous all-time highs, which is nothing.
Nothing.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's set up beautifully. It's just going to be a matter of seeing what happens after the monthly open. I think these next 2 days, like you said, too, going into the weekend here, we're going to get a pretty good indication of what we're probably going to see on Monday and Tuesday of this upcoming week. And then, yeah, after the first week of February's passed, I don't think it really matters, what Ethereum does over the next week, what the altcoins do over the next week. I think it's kind of inevitable that after the first week of February, we're definitely going a lot higher.
Mm-hmm.
What the chart looks like getting there, I don't think it really matters. I mean, I know what I'd prefer. Be great to see nothing but green candles until February 5th, February 6th. But if it doesn't end up playing out that way, after we're through the first week of February, we're good.
Mm-hmm. We're going to be fucking cooking. All right, let's look at Pepe. And then you said you wanted to look at Whiff and what was the other one? Doge?
Whiff and Brett.
Brett. Okay, cool. We'll take a look at that as soon as we hit Pepe real quick. So, Pepe, the winner of this cycle, winner meme coin. Okay, this thing got an absolute fucking beating over the last month and a half. And I know people have been watching it. So, let's take a look at it. Okay, and what we're actually seeing here. So, Pepe, this thing loves to repeat itself. Okay, so let's look at a 4-day chart. Okay. Pepe loves to repeat itself in its patterns. So what are we doing right now? So last year, before Pepe had this fucking ridiculous run in February, which is exactly what we're setting up for again, right? Look at that. First week of February passes, February 6th, we start to get this pump, right? So they like to cheat it down at the beginning of the month, right? You get this little move to the downside on the open, and then boom, you start pumping. So this move on Pepe... Let me add this puppy. Was to the high. Boom. 11, 12x. Okay. From the low to the high. We'll give it the actual Pico low. Yeah. 12x. So 12.5x. That happened in the span of... $40 days. So in 40 days, Pepe went up 12.5x. So you had $1,000 in there, you got 100, you got 12,500. You put 100 grand in there, you got 1.2 mil. So that's in the span of 40 days it made that move. After bleeding for 70 days. Okay. So look at
277 days.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, 70 bars, my fault. Good call. Pull that down so you can see it.
Okay. So 9 months.
9 months. So let me take it from the all-time high, previous high. Okay. So Pepe hits his first all-time high in May of 23. Okay. Gets launched in the bear market, rips to fucking Valhalla. Great. Bleeds for basically 273 days. Then in the span of 40 days does a 12.5x. Okay. It actually peaked out in May. So let's call it from the Pico high because we were talking about the two tops, one being in March, one being in May. So that did, geez, that's, what is that? A 19x, 20x. It's a 20x, almost a 20x. So Pepe does almost a 20x in that time frame. Okay. And I want to actually have the dates on this too. Okay, that was in 112 days. So what does Pepe does this time? So now we get from this high, right? And we bled for 164 days. This is 250. Because that was a Coinbase listing pump. So that's a little bit different. That was from Coinbase listing. So look at what you got here, right? So you get this first top right here, and then you basically bleed in range for the next 273 days. Then in this range, you did a 20x. Pepe does what again? Same exact thing. Look at this, 250 days. By the time February comes around, another 7 days, it'll be, or like the first week of February is done. We'll call it something like that. Yeah, something like that. Look, it's the fucking same thing. It basically ranges and bleeds for the next 260, 270 days, right? Well, we played this pattern out before, so we just did it again. Well, what do you think is going to happen this time? That's way too much, so let's do...
Yeah. Is this in log?
Yeah, yeah, it is. That's why. Okay.
Okay.
We'll do like, let's say we do a 10x. Right? So that's what we're looking to play out again. It's the same pattern, right? You bleed, you range for 270 days, you get a fucking fat pump in a shorter time frame. You bleed / range for 250, 260 days. Look at that. Very similar time frame. Then what's going to happen, do you think, after that ranging? You finally get the moves on ETH. ETH starts pumping. What happens to Pepe? Pepe pumps hard as fuck. So this is what we're looking to see play out again. It's just patterns, right? It's the same thing. There's confluence here. So then this would, this pump would last for, let's call it, last time was 112 days. So something like this, right? We're looking somewhere to take us into May. Perfect. There you go. Right? It's the same thing that happened last time. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear, pretty obvious what's going to happen here on Pepe.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like we were just saying about how with Andy and Landwolf being a third of the size that they were before, how much easier it's going to be to pump them. Mm-hmm. Before, whenever Pepe was top and out, just about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, back in, end of November, beginning of December, we saw Pepe at like 2.7, 2.8, 2.9 almost. At that point, it was 11, 12 billion. And if we wanted to get a 10x move from there, which we were still seeing as definitely more than possible, we would have had to pull an all-time market cap record for meme coins. It would have had to beat out Doge and go to like 110, 120 billion. It's like with where Pepe is at right now, I think it's just over 5 billion market cap. I think it's like 5.3, 5.4. Mm-hmm. Now we need half that target. I mean, if you guys are taking advantage of these lows and you're accumulating right now, like Priamo said he has been, you need half the move that you needed before to get the exact same return on your investment.
Yep.
So it's like with Andy and Landwolf, I mean, it still makes a difference, but it's just like the scale of it is insane. Like now we literally need $50 billion less of a move to make the same return on your investment. So, right now is the prime, especially with what this chart's showing, right now is the prime time to get into Pepe. I mean, it's already gotten a ton of attention. It's already listed. The stage is set for this move to be able to happen. And, we've looked at the Doge chart before and the kind of move that it made in the time span that it did. It added $60 billion to its market cap in the matter of like 10 or 12 days before. So it's like, if you don't think that Pepe, that has as much attention as it does, that's, has as much of a cult-like following as Pepe does, has as many people that are going to receive the notifications on their phone from Robinhood and from Coinbase and from Binance and all these other exchanges that the price is up 8% on the day, 12% on the day. There's so many people that are going to be getting notified that Pepe is moving again. If you don't think it can add half of that market cap size that Doge did in 10 days over the next 3 months, I mean, it's more than doable, more than doable. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think this is beautiful. And whenever it was on the higher time frame, when you were looking at like the weekly chart,
Mm-hmm.
the price action is just so consistent on
Yeah.
Pepe. Yeah, I mean, like if you look at this, it's just the same moves over and over and over and over again. So yeah, the stage is set. Right now is prime time to be accumulating, and I know you have for the private crypto plays members something special in the works. It's gonna print this cycle. So
We got the printer ready to go, ready to turn on. So yeah, I mean the timing's fucking scary how close it is. It's just the timing of it all makes sense. So now you just got to make sure you're positioned for it correctly and stay convicted on the whole point of us holding the Ethereum beta. The time is now. The time to accumulate is now. If you still haven't gotten the position that you wanted, the time is literally now. You have quite literally about a week before I see things start heating up again. So there you have it on Pepe. So if we know how Pepe is going to perform, we know how ETH is going to perform. You guys know how Andy and Wolf are going to perform in Bread as well. So I'm not going to give you targets for Pepe and where we're going to start selling because, again, that's going to be inside the Taylor's code for the guys that we have working in there. Now, let's take a look at, you say you want to take a look at WIF, right?
yeah, do you want to put whiff on the top pane and then bread on the bottom?
Sure. Yeah. So let's do, and then, whoops. And then we're going to do Brett. All right. So give me Brett. I'll try this one. Okay. And then, do you know what time frame you want it on, or just kind of figure out something that looks good?
You could just put it on the daily. That should work.
Get us out the way. Let me get these candles larger. All right, that's fine. We'll do it like this. Okay.
And it is whiff. You said it's on Solana.
Soul. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the guys that's super, super heavily invested in Brett. I mean, we've been following Crash since we originally got into Brett.
Mm-hmm.
He got into Brett when I think it was what, like $20,000, $30,000 market cap. Like literally right after it got launched, he put in a shit ton of money. And I know at the peak of Brett, whenever it was like 23, 24 cents, I think his position was worth like 15, 16 million.
Mm-hmm.
So huge holder in Brett, still is continuing to buy Brett right now. So, if he's willing to continue to add on to his position whenever it's 100 times higher than whenever he originally bought in, that should tell you guys something about his conviction. But aside the point, whenever WIF topped out back in the top of the 2024 mini alt season, which was around like March, April 2024,
Mm-hmm.
WIF had topped out at around 4.7, $4.8 billion market cap. And at the end of like the middle of December, whenever everything was starting to rip again before the end of the year, Brett was about 50 to $100 million of market cap away from actually flipping WIF. So whenever you see something like Brett that has 0 tier 1 exchange listings and it's getting close to flipping a coin that's already gone over, almost up to $5 billion market cap with every exchange listing that you could ever ask for. I mean, WIF is listed on Robinhood, it's on Coinbase, it's on Binance. You can buy it everywhere. And Brett is just about to tip over it and pass it up with 0 exchange listings. I mean, that should tell you guys very clearly what Brett is going to do, even after just a Coinbase listing. Once it has the attention of its native chain, it's on the base network, and it gets listed, which I think we've all agreed at this point is pretty much inevitable. For Brett, just to hit what WIF did, which is in my opinion, a dog shit coin. I think WIF
terrible.
Yeah, I think WIF's a complete piece of shit. So it's like if WIF was able, which is a complete piece of shit coin on Solana, to pump to almost 5 billion just from where Brett's at right now, that you're going to pull a 5x on your investment. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have too much. I haven't looked at this too much, but I know that there's been a lot of talk about Brett flipping with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even at current price, I think it's only like 300 million market cap away from being able to flip with. So I think that this flip is inevitable. I think Brett has a way stronger cult following. I think it has way more attention than Whiff has ever had
Mm-hmm.
at any point. Um, Toshi.
They just listed this. I was going to make the point that Brett hasn't even been listed on Coinbase yet. Coinbase lists Toshi, which is a base chain meme. Toshi goes fucking parabolic. Like, it's only been on Coinbase for fucking like a day or two. But my point is that, yeah, Brett is doing all this without any major exchange listings. Toshi pumps the Valhalla as soon as it gets on Coinbase. And this is within a couple hours. Just, look at the daily. They only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days it's been on Coinbase, I guess. So, because the Coinbase chart. So, yeah, point being is Brett, what do you think is going to happen when Brett gets listed? It's going to fucking pump hard. But you got to front run that pump, because as soon as it gets listed, it's going to shoot up, and then you start exiting some of your position, because that's an exit pump, right? That's exit liquidity if you have a large position. So you want to make sure you exit some of your position on that Coinbase listing. But yeah, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the tier one listings, I think we were talking about it a few months ago, if it would start to lose its value,
Mm-hmm.
because they were all of a sudden they were starting to list all kinds of shit that we weren't expecting them to. They were listing a bunch of coins at like $400 or $500 million market cap. But I think whenever we're in peak euphoria, around April, May of this year, it's going to be just like the dot-com bubble, which we've talked about before. It's like whenever the dot-com bubble happened, you could have bought into anything in the legacy markets and it was going to go up. I think the tier one listings are going to be similar.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if these exchanges deem something a good enough project to get listed, whenever things are in peak euphoria, everyone's going to be looking to jump into the new coins that they have available to buy. They're going to be wanting to get into anything new that they can because it's exciting. They're making money off of every single project that they're invested in. Doesn't even matter what network it's on. They're just making money. They're going to be buying up every single meme coin and every single altcoin that's going to get listed to their exchanges.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, do you think, I'm kind of curious, do you think there's any reason, because I know we've talked about the fact that like Coinbase and these exchanges, like they're going to list stuff whenever it makes the most sense for them to do so. They're not just going to do it for no reason. And I know that there for a while, Brett was definitely very well supporting itself without any tier one listings. It was the only top 10 meme coin by market cap that didn't have any exchange listings. It was at, pushing up towards 3 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know of any reason why Coinbase and these other exchanges wouldn't have listed it yet?
Yeah, so Toshi, the only reason they listed Toshi potentially before Brett would have been because Toshi was on base and launched before Brett, and that was the big base meme before Brett came out. The other thing is that, unfortunately, and you see this in the real world too, with people who have jobs, Brett is almost too good at its job of bringing people to base chain and giving people a reason to use the base network, that Coinbase is actually incentivized not to list it on its major exchange quite yet, because Brett gives a reason to people to get on chain and buy Brett on base chain. Because as soon as it gets listed on Coinbase's actual exchange, it's no longer on chain, so people aren't going to have to go on to base chain to be able to buy Brett, which is Coinbase's L2 to Ethereum. So it's almost too good at its job at bringing people to its ecosystem that they want to leave it on the ecosystem and only available on its ecosystem. Now, that doesn't mean they're never going to list it. They're going to for sure list it. The other reason I know that they didn't list it in January is because the LP for Brett recently unlocked or unlocks at the beginning of February, which isn't good because obviously if an LP is unlocked, they can just fucking pull liquidity. So Coinbase is not going to list it until they relock it. So once February comes around, they're going to relock the LP. Well, I would assume they will. They'll relock the LP, and once it's relocked, then it would give Coinbase a reason to go ahead and list the token. So yeah, they just can't list it when an LP is unlocked because they don't know. What if somebody just pulls the fucking liquidity? That's not good.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, so those are the reasons. I know that they hadn't listed it yet, but yeah, outside of that, I mean, that's a fucking banger stream. We gave them the juice, gave them some targets on majors, re-explained the leverage of the boys club on Ethereum. So if Ethereum goes up 2x, Pepe goes up 6, and then boys club beta 18 to 24x. If Ethereum goes up 3x, Pepe goes up 9x, and then Andy and Wolf go up, what, 24 to 28x? No, way more
20,
than that.
27 to 36x.
Yeah. So there you go. All right. Outside of that, let's fucking Mr. Producer. All right. Hold on. Yeah, don't, not yet. I know. I know what was coming. All right, hold on. Let me change the screen capture. I'm going to do this. Boom. Okay, now they can see that. And then we're going to do this. All right. See you later. Hey, if you're not inside the Taylor's Code already, link is in the description. Join the network. We post, obviously, exclusive charts that we're not going to take a look at and show on YouTube. Give you daily analysis. We're not on YouTube every single day going live. So get your daily analysis, updates on what we're doing. Once you join the Taylor's Code, the school community, inside of the classroom, you're going to want to join the private crypto plays course. It's private crypto plays. Once you join that, I'm going to get your WhatsApp and we're going to add you to the private group chat that we have with all the other gentlemen that we invest with. I'm going to give you, again, live updates on my positioning, what I'm accumulating before we talk about it on YouTube, when I'm buying things, when I'm DCAing, when we're taking profit, when we're selling, what are the cycle targets, and then obviously you have direct communication with myself, Logan, all the other gentlemen that do that mentor inside the Taylor's Code. So join ASAP because the next leg is going to load here soon. There's not unlimited time to make money in crypto. Obviously, you got to get in and position now before you get the upside movement. Shit's not going to go up forever. We're going to enter another bear market. Then you're going to have to know how to short position, make money in a bear market. It's obviously very different than a bull market. So join now as quickly as possible. Get in the markets to start getting you guys making money, and then we're going to grow the network in other ways as well. Do you want to give them a quick, we got like 2 minutes. You want to give them a quick thing on the fitness?
Yeah. I was going to say I yesterday finally got the fitness program, full fitness plan put into the Taylor's Code. So that's available also in the classroom section. You guys will see it listed in there. So it took me quite a while to put it together. I wanted to make sure that it was fully comprehensive. I wanted it to include everything that I do. So it includes, full strength training guidelines, everything I do for strength training on a weekly basis. I put my full cardio regimen in there as well. I toned it back a little bit for anyone that's new getting into cardio. Maybe you don't currently run, maybe you've never run in your life. I didn't put in my current splits. I put in what I started with. And I also put a couple of modifications in there if, it's just too much, just a way to be able to tone that back. I also included in the program, my full dietary regimen. So everything that I'm eating on a daily basis. I put in the calorie splits for every single meal. I put in the amounts of protein, carbohydrates, fats for every single meal. And then I also put in my full supplement breakdown. So all the vitamins and supplements that I'm taking on a daily basis, I put in the dosages, the brands, and I also included just an explanation behind the supplementation guide and why I'm actually taking everything that I'm taking and the benefits that, I reap from them and the benefits that you'd be able to take advantage of too. So for anyone that does go ahead and purchase that, it's going to lay everything out for you. I'm going to get you added. I have a private Telegram group that I got started. So it's going to be focusing on fitness, faith, and finance as well. So, you guys will obviously have direct access to me. I'll help you tailor the program to your specific needs, make sure that it's working for you. I'll keep tabs with you just to make sure you are making progress and getting results like you're supposed to. We'll modify it where it needs to. And then, we're also going to be discussing faith, whatever that may mean to you. And then, obviously finance as well, which is kind of the main focus of the crypto stuff and the Taylor's code in general. So that's available in there. If you have any questions, if you have any issues purchasing it, send me a direct message in the Taylor's code, or you can follow me on Instagram. It's Logan_Bauer. Give me a follow there, send me a DM, and I'm happy to help.
Fire. This guy's a fucking savage too. He won't tell you, but he's a fucking freak of nature. He's not like your doctor when you go in your doctor's office and he's fat and he's telling you to watch your cholesterol. No, he's actually shredded, actually does fitness at a very high level. And when I say that, I mean that literally because I'm relative to the normal human being very fit, but I'm nowhere in the fucking sphere of what the fuck Logan does. So like what he takes it, it's professional. He does it professionally, from the supplementation, the diet, the actually tracking everything that he does. Again, it's professional. It's not just showing up to the gym and lifting fucking weights. So fit, all right, what's it called? Mind, body, spirit. All right, get that right, because money doesn't mean anything if you don't have the health, if you don't have the faith, if you don't have the mentality to accompany the riches. There are plenty of people who are rich as fuck, but they're fucking miserable, have anxiety and depression. That's not the goal, right? What kind of life do you have if you're in a hospital bed, depressed, and you have all this money? It doesn't mean anything. So make sure you get everything right. All right, Mr. Producer, you can hit him with it.